Hello everybody, it is Dylan from Yugioh Everything and welcome back to another Q&A. This is my May Q&A. I know I just did a question and answer video only like a week or two ago, but I wanted to do this one earlier in May because later in May I'll probably be busy with Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains stuff, and I just figured might as well make the Q&A now. I have time to do it, so I wanted to make it and not put it off for another 2 months because I do try to do these every month. So if you're unaware, this is a segment where I take a bunch of questions that you guys have asked me and I answer them. So if you do want to ask me any questions for the next Q&A, just start off your question with one of these three things: Q&A, question and answer, Q&A with the ampersand, whatever you want to do, just so I know that, just so that when I go through my comments, I'm not, I know that you want this to be answered in a video and not just on the comment section or the comment thread of this video that you're asking me a question. If you just want a quick question to ask me, I'll do my best to answer, as I do try to answer every comment I get. And if you ask me a question and I did not answer it, just keep asking. I do apologize. If I did not answer it, it's impossible for me to answer every single question I get. I do the best I can, but it would take, 4 hours, and because of YouTube comment glitches, it's impossible for me to do. But before we begin, I do have some pretty major announcements to make. One regarding a brand new project that I am beginning, and another regarding the future of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything channel. Nothing bad. A couple of segments are going to be dropped, and that's pretty much that. I'm not abandoning Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything or anything like that. Quite the contrary. I think I'm going to be doing probably 10 videos this week. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything's still very, very healthy. But I will, talk to you guys right now about all that stuff. So I have created a brand new channel, which will be linked in the description. And if you guys check it out and subscribe to it, you will be doing me a huge favor, and I just will be forever grateful of the support that you guys always show me. And it is called Dylan from Anime. Now, the way I came up with that channel is when I started with Clueless Gamers with my friend Pete. He started the channel, he let me join, so I'm still forever thankful for that. I would always say, hey guys, it's Dylan from Clueless Gamers, because there was 2 people on Clueless Gamers. I made Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and I still say, hey everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, even though I'm the only one on Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, so it's kind of pointless for me to say that. And I was like, you know what, at this point I'll make it kind of like an inside joke. And so Dylan from Anime, the 4 shows that I will be 100% covering, the 4 anime shows: My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia. I'm completely caught up with that. So this Saturday, expect a review, because I'll probably be doing reviews every Saturday for that show, the same style I do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Reviews. And that show has been absolutely incredible. We are only, I believe, 19 episodes in. Season 1 was 13. I believe we're 6 of 25 episodes into Season 2. If you have not watched this show, and you have some free time, I highly suggest binge watching it. Again, only 19 episodes. You can get through it in about 5 hours or so. The show is absolutely incredible. And someone like me, I never really got into Naruto. I never really got into One Piece. I don't really like the fighting genre, but there's just something about this show that, I don't know, blew me away, and I really do love it. So I will be doing reviews for this show. Code Geass is another show that I will be watching. I've not watched it yet. I've seen scenes and clips here and there, and I've heard great things about it. You guys know I'm a very easy to please person, so I'm sure I'm going to love the show. One Punch Man, I've seen the first couple of episodes. Hilarious show, really good show. I will be reviewing that once Season 2 begins, and Code Geass once Season 3 begins. And JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I'm going to be binge watching that. I know all the openings and endings. The music is incredible. I've seen some scenes. I've seen the fight scenes with Dio, the Worldo guy, and the fight scenes seem to be really enjoyable, and that show seems to be, again, another very well-revered show. So those are the 4 animes that I will be really covering on Dylan from Anime. Reviews, reactions, if maybe there's a big climatic episode coming up, and reactions to the new openings and endings as well. Whenever there's an opening and ending, I will be reacting to it, along with any theories I can come up with. It's similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! When I think of a theory worth making, I will make a video on it, and I will post it on there. So, in the prime over there, that could be 4 videos a week, which I know is a lot on top of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything stuff, but I think I'll be able to manage, because I don't think the shows are really going to run simultaneously. My Hero Academia ran for 13 episodes and was off for about 39 weeks, then came back on, and is only going to run for another 19 weeks or so, which is a really good amount of time, and I'm glad there's more episodes in Season 2. But by the time that show is kind of ending, or that season is ending at least, that's when I expect Code Geass, JoJo, and One Punch Man to all kind of begin up again. again, and so I don't think I'll be too overwhelmed with it. I think it's going to be a great challenge for me, and if any of those shows appeal to you, I really hope you guys subscribe. My goal for the end of the week, when I don't expect these videos to get a lot of views. I expect the reviews to get maybe 50 to 100 views, and if they get 100 views, I'll be more than content. But my goal for the end of the week is if this channel has 100 subscribers, I will be thrilled. If this channel has 100 subscribers by Saturday when I post the My Hero Academia video, I'll be thrilled. My 2018 goal is to have 1,000 subscribers. I think that is kind of stretching it, but I think it would be awesome if I could hit that tally. And if you guys are interested in any of those animes, because you guys know I take my word for it, I will be talking to you guys in the comments, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys about all these shows, especially My Hero Academia. And so I hope you guys do follow me along for that journey, for that ride. It should be a lot of fun. Now, what does it mean for Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything? It really doesn't mean anything. I'll still be doing the same amount of videos on this channel. There are a couple of segments that I am cutting. Fan Fridays, they've been gone for a long time. I only did 2, and they're both on private now, so they can't even be viewed. That segment right now is kind of indefinitely gone. It was just a lot of work for me to do. I couldn't find a good program that I liked, and just my editing skills are not great, and my computer is kind of crappy right now, so syncing up my video camera with the, on-screen stuff was just very difficult for me. So that series has been indefinitely cut, just formally announcing that, but I'm sure you guys kind of figured that out. If any of you even remember that series, I mean, that was a long time ago, back in like December, before I even did the theory video that brought, the timeline one that brought a lot of people to my channel. Another segment I am cutting are the manga reviews. The manga reviews are going to be done. I might start them back up again in like 2 or 3 months, but if I do, it will just be me. That's all I have to say about that. Another segment I will be getting rid of is fantasy duels. Sad to get rid of this segment, but it was just a very tough to run segment because, as you guys know, I would have 7 people on the panel for the real life version because, I'm not too adept and I'm not really an expert by any means at the real life card game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I would ask these people, to send me emails, and for the most part it was great, but even if 6 of 7 people made the deadlines and 1 person didn't, that's where it kind of gets tricky, and I have to kind of reach out to that person, and if they don't answer for like a week, then I have to find someone else and give them enough time to give me an answer, and it was just a lot of work for me to do. I like the series, but another thing, more so than that, more so for the amount of work it was, a lot of people just didn't really enjoy that series as much as I kind of would hope that they did, which is fine. This is all what YouTube is about. It's about, making video segments. It's about seeing what people like, seeing how many likes and dislikes it gets, seeing the interaction on it, and then saying, all right, maybe I'll focus more on the top 10 lists in this segment because that's something that more people enjoy on my channel. That's exactly what YouTube is. That's marketing. I'm a marketing major. By next year, I'll have a bachelor's degree in marketing. I already have my associates in it. And YouTube is basically one big marketing game, at least for someone like me who is trying to, bring the most amount of anime watchers to this channel as I possibly can to make, one of the biggest communities possible. And you guys know I value community very highly. If I didn't, I would never write on my videos, but you guys know I comment, I spend 2 to 3 hours almost every day commenting and writing to you guys because I just love doing it. And so if I can work on a top 10 list that'll get 10,000 views, where a fantasy duel gets 3 or 4,000 views, I'm going to rather do a top 10 list because that's just what more people enjoy. It's as simple as that. But a lot of people just didn't have the same views as I did on this series. When I did this series, it was anime, manga, and real life. And on anime had to do with plot device. It had to do with how good the character was in the anime. It didn't have to do with the deck type. But I can't tell you how many times, like during the Vector and Marek duel, for instance, so many people would comment, because I only did anime, so many people would comment, oh, Vector's deck is so much more advanced than Marek's. Marek's wouldn't have a chance. But that's not really what my vision for that segment was. My vision was, what if these two met in the anime? Doesn't matter how their decks are in the real world. It's just plot device versus plot device. And unfortunately, not a lot of people kind of saw it that way, and that's perfectly fine. That's, again, what YouTube is all about. So that is why I am cutting fantasy duels. I might do the final one between Janucci and Manjome. I'm not sure if I will. If I have free time in the summer, I might. But those are the 3 that are being cut from the channel. Another thing that I guess I'll quickly address is the channel's future, and really all my future at this point, because this time next year, I will be graduating from college, and the future, as always, is not only scary to think about, but there's just a lot of question marks. I do not know where I will be next year. Of course, I am in this for the entire next year. Don't think that I'm, saying, oh yeah, by next week or next month, I'm going to be done, unless something unforeseen happens or I get extremely, extremely burnt out. I'm in this for the long run. I'm in this. I've been saying that for a while. I'm definitely going to be doing this over the next year. But then it gets kind of fuzzy because we'll be probably like 52 episodes into VRains at that point. And who knows what'll happen with the Dylan from Anime channel. It'd be great if that channel somehow, I don't expect it to, but somehow blows up like the other one, like Yugioh Everything did. Don't expect it to, but I would love to do this full time. That was always the goal that wasn't the goal when I first started, but then when my theory video blew up and I saw how much advertising revenue you really could make here off of YouTube, I was like, I could kind of do this full time. And I'm at the point now where I am making a good amount a month. I am making a very good amount a month. That's how I've been able to kind of afford to upgrade my equipment really well without being, and I'm also working 3 jobs outside of this. So the money's not really an issue at this point. I think I'll be able to actually graduate debt-free, which would be a real benefit. And a lot of people, I've had about 7 or 8 people, not a lot of people, but the fact that there's 7 or 8 is insane to me, have asked me like, do you have a Patreon? Are you planning to have a Patreon? Can I donate to you? Which, the fact that you even asked me that makes me, I can't tell you how grateful, and how amazing that makes me feel. I do not have a Patreon at this point. I don't plan to have a Patreon anytime soon. I might make one in the near future. No, I don't want to say near future, but in the future, just to see kind of how it goes. And in a year's time, if I'm getting enough money off Patreon, which I would not expect to, and I'm getting enough money off of YouTube ad revenue, and like, let's say in a year's time, I have 70,000 subscribers on this channel, which would be insane. May 2018, 70,000 subs versus 30,000 subs, which would still be amazing. There's a big difference there. And 30,000 subs, you can't really make a living off of it. And then if I go to New York City, because I live right in the city, or to, somewhere else, Philadelphia maybe, and I get a full-time job, it's going to be almost impossible for me to really make videos. I'll probably only be able to do one every week, and it'll probably be like a VRains review. And so that's where the difference is. I'm either going to go all in a year, or I'm going to kind of pull out and maybe be completely done in a year. And that's kind of just, I don't know. It's a very gray area, and a lot of people have asked me about maybe starting up a Patreon or a donation thing, and I didn't want to do that. I really would have rather just relied on YouTube ad revenue, but I know they've kind of cut back because a lot of advertisers have pulled out due to some controversies recently. So I might open up a Patreon soon. I'm not sure. I really don't want to because I feel bad about it. I just feel bad about taking money from people. That's kind of what it is. But if that's the case, I will obviously create a system. Patreon has a reward system where you're not just donating for nothing. Even if you're donating $1 or $5 a month, I will be giving you some kind of benefits, hopefully worthwhile, to you for donating to the channel. But we'll see about that. The fact that, 7 or 8 people said that they, have reached out and asked me if I had one, means the world to me in itself. So that's kind of where everything stands right now. First year, we're approaching the first year of Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and it's been an absolutely incredible ride. I'm really excited to continue forward with this channel. I'm really excited to continue forward, or to start Dylan from Anime. I think that is going to be a really fun channel as well, and hopefully that channel is enjoyed by a lot of people just like this one is. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we are going to start the Q&A, but also the Q&A segments are going to change a bit. I am going to do them every year, but instead of showing you guys, because a lot of people, which is kind of what the Q&A is for, they'll just have this on kind of mindlessly in the background, which I completely understand because all I'm showing is screenshots. I'm not really showing, usually in my videos, I actually don't really show anything worthwhile. I just kind of talk. I think that's my selling point, my commentary and my insight and my interaction with you guys, and the fact that I like to think I'm a genuine person. If I wasn't, I wouldn't, again, comment as often as I do. But I think what I'm going to do, I just got the Nintendo Switch, and I think there's a way to set up in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like private rooms with your friends. So instead of the screenshots, you'll still see the questions from people, but you'll see the question for like 10 seconds when I read it, and then you'll go to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe footage, and I'm going to probably tweet or put on my YouTube channel very soon, like my friend code for the Switch. I still haven't set up the game, and I'm not sure if you can create private rooms, but I'm pretty sure you can. And so during the Q&A videos, you can see me versing, other people from the Yu-Gi-Oh community, maybe even yourself if you have a Switch and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I think that would be really, really awesome. Just that, if you do want to watch the videos, instead of seeing a question pop up and then a screenshot and a question and a screenshot every 3 minutes, you can actually watch some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe footage of of me playing along with other people in the community, and I think that would be a lot of fun. For instance, It's Brad as HD. He's kind of infamous for posting pictures of himself in 8th place, which is kind of a peak position for him. And so if you want to see me smoke Brad and others in the community, you know, that'll be a great opportunity for you to watch. I'm completely kidding. Brad is a good friend of mine. It's just some friendly banter. But yeah, so I think that would be a lot of fun. I think it would be really enjoyable for something to watch as you kind of listen into these Q&A videos. So anyway, we are going to go to the questions. Thank you to everyone for asking me questions, and thank you to everyone for hearing me out and listening to the last 12, 13-minute rant I went on, but kind of update I went on. And again, if you do really subscribe to the Dylan from Anime channel, I cannot tell you how grateful I will be for your support. So anyway, we are going to begin. Sage Master Ken asks, will Yusaku have a second summoning method to use in his duels, example fusion or synchro? So here's the thing, Sage Master and everyone watching, we just got a real bombshell of information that says Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains is 10 years from today. And now I'm assuming they mean it's going to be taking place in 2027, which is a real concern to the timeline and a concern to more summoning methods, because either VRains is going to be its own universe, which I'm kind of hoping it is, because if Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains is its own universe and it's not canon to any of the other 5 shows, we can see fusions through pendulums. If we're going based on timeline, and if it is going to be continuity, we will not see Xyzes or pendulums. That is 100% certain. We will definitely not see either of those. We could see fusions, because GX again probably took place in like 2008 or so, 2010 maybe. Also, fusions were in the original Yu-Gi-Oh!, so I don't see any problem with seeing fusions, and synchro is kind of fuzzy. This could be a different part in the world where Neo Domino City is, and maybe it's taking place while 5Ds is going on, because I think 5Ds was going on around 2025, 2026. Geez, I'm going to have a lot of fun making the timeline video if I do think VRains is canon to the other animes. Jesus Christ. But this, and also if they mention, like if they show pendulums in Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains and they mention Yusei or Judai or Yugi, the entire timeline is absolutely obliterated. I don't even think I'll probably make like another timeline video of me just ranting about how messed up the timeline is, if that's the case, because if they're using pendulums and Xyzes and they mention Yusei, Judai, and Yugi, it's like, or any of those 3 for that matter, it would just be mind-boggling to how bad the timeline is. But I could see him using fusions, and I hope he does use fusions, but I think his main summoning method is going to be links. My biggest hope for the show, if you watched my last Q&A, was that we would see other summoning methods. I'm just starting to believe that we are not going to see other summoning methods, that we could see rituals. Now, rituals are very interesting because they've also, just like fusions, been around since the very first Yu-Gi-Oh! And to see rituals in action, and to see them maybe get the spotlight like they've never gotten before, that would be really cool. So maybe he will use ritual monsters, but I think he will use links so majorly that whatever summoning method he uses besides links, if there's any, I think it'll be hard to even call it a second summoning method. It'll be very, very minuscule, but that's just my opinion on the matter. Very interesting question. Oh, here actually is It's Brad HD, who is, again, another Yugi-tuber. Definitely check him out. The guy I just threw shade at for being, being a little questionable in Mario Kart 8, but I guess we'll see when we hit the tracks later this month, hopefully. I guess I'll throw a Q&A question in here. What would your dream Yugi-tubing collaboration be? Don't say Mega Capital G. Who would it be with, and what would it be on? So the Mega Capital G thing is kind of an inside joke. I had told Brad and some others when I was still part of that Discord server that I would be taking the entire summer off, and I would be shadowing Mega Capital G, and what that means is that I would be kind of like an intern for him, and he would be like showing me the ropes of his channel, and people actually believed it, but not true at all. Mega Capital G, I do watch his videos a little bit because a lot of it is card game related, but he has been a little more into the anime. I know he mentioned me in a video. He is actually subscribed to the channel, so if he is by some chance watching this, I do enjoy his content, and he honestly is someone I would not mind having on a podcast, because I think Simply Unlucky is another guy, another, really big, unboxer, I guess you could say. Pack opener, I guess is the appropriate term, just because Simply Unlucky is also he commented on my timeline video, so he's seen my videos before, which is really cool. And I'd love to have the big TCG Yugi tubers on, because I feel like that's a good way to kind of try to turn some people onto the anime, and this channel, first and foremost, is to increase the anime's popularity. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, create a community that we can all discuss the anime and enjoy the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. So I think having a big, OCG, TCG Yugi YouTuber like Mega Capital G or like Samurai. He's subscribed to me, I'm subscribed to him. He's got like 77k subs. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I just watched his pack opening. He just opened Maximum Crisis in like a 40-minute video. But to have someone like him, or to have someone like Mega Cap G or Simply Unlucky, I think that would be really cool to have a TCG Yugi-tuber as popular as those three are on the channel. And of course, there's others that I just can't really think of at the moment. As for Yugi-tubers, I know Brad will be on a podcast later, Dimsy, Agami. So there, you know, a lot of the people that are covering VRains should be on podcasts later this month, which will be very exciting. But yeah, TGS Anime is another one. I wouldn't mind collabing with him. I'm sure a lot of you guys know who TGS is, and so he's someone that I have not actually talked to at all about being on a podcast, but it would be cool if he came on once. Maybe I'll reach out to him and see what he's up to. But yeah, it's the Mega Capital G would be pretty high on that list, along with Simply Unlucky, Samurai, and a few, you know, pretty much everyone I mentioned. But a lot of the people that I really wanted to collab with will be on podcasts later this summer, which I'm very excited about. Kolawol Oliudin, I always butcher that name, I apologize. Hey Dylan, I'm Mario Odyssey hype. Hey Dylan, glad to see you're getting back to these Q&As. My question is, do you think Yusaku will fall into a dark slump, as in he might fall into darkness and get darkish powers like the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro tags, minus Yusei, or will he just have a normal setback at some point? I think he'll have a setback, but he is a very interesting character because he seems to be, based on his description, the most kind of distant, cold protagonist we've had in Yu-Gi-Oh! So far. The only other one that comes close is maybe Yusei and Atem, but Yusaku seems to be very just distant, and it's early to say because we have not seen him in an episode, but he's barely smiling. We've only seen him smiling in that one clip where he's kind of looking over the city, and so I think he might already be in darkness to kind of kick off the show, or be in like a slump. I don't think he's going to fall into darkness like, you know, the Seal of Orichalcos or the Supreme King or Zark or anything along those lines, but I could see him going through the show struggling to have fun again in duels, and that's kind of his main, you know, development. That can this character who's gone through so much horrible things in his past that he can't even remember go through or get back to that level of where he actually enjoyed dueling. So I don't think he's going to fall into a setback per se. I think he actually might start in a setback, but it's hard to say because we've yet to see his character. It's also hard to say because his bio, again, makes him seem very distant and very cold-hearted. So it'll be a very interesting thing to keep your eye on. Merrill King asks, what arc will be in Season 2 of VRains and why? P.S. Let's hope we don't have another arc that takes 45 episodes to get done like Synchro Arc did, and I love your videos. Thank you very much, Merrill. Very good question. You figured the Season 1 arc is going to be Yusaku trying to get his pass back, trying to take down the Knights along with SOL technology, usually in Season 2 or Season 3, usually at like the 50 episode mark. A new villain gets introduced. In Duel Monsters, we had, maybe not at the 50 episode mark, but we had Marek. We had Marek get introduced in Duel Monsters. In GX, we had Sayu or Sartorius in the dub. In 5Ds, we had Iliaster get introduced. In Zexal, we had Zexal was, I mean, the Baryons were kind of always hinted at. And, well, not always hinted at, I guess I should say, but the Baryons were introduced. That's the best way to put it. And we didn't really know Shark was obviously a Baryon until, you know, the big plot twist that came later in Zexal. In Arc 5, we had Rajay. He was considered the major villain of the Synchro Arc. So I think we're going to have another group or another person similar to Iliaster, similar to the Baryons, similar to the people in Synchro and Jean-Michel Rajay, who will, you know, the Society of Light in Season 2. I think we'll have another group rise from nowhere and kind of challenge maybe the Knights of Hanoi if they're still around, if they're still an evil group, or mainly challenge Yusaku and these charisma duelists. Maybe trap everyone inside VR. I know a lot of people are going to cringe at me saying that because I think that's what they did in Sword Art Online, and it's such a cliche thing. But cliches are not necessarily bad if they are executed properly. And that's something that I think people tend to forget, that, you know, cliches exist for a reason because, oh my God, it's so overdone. But if it's executed properly, and as someone who also has not really seen a show virtual reality related, so it's brand new to me, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I can't speak for everyone else. I think a decent amount of people would, but it doesn't seem like the Knights are trying to trap people in the virtual reality world. It doesn't seem like that's Soul Technology's purpose either. I think that's going to be the main purpose of the antagonists in Season 2, to trap everyone inside the VR world and try to pick them off one by one or something along those lines. At least I can very well see that being the case. So Atemi asks, on to my Q&A question. Q&A, what is your favorite number monster? My favorite number monster, this is going to maybe surprise some people, I believe it's rank 35. Number 35, Ravenous Tarantula, which is funny because I hate spiders, I despise spiders, but I love using this monster. I don't know if this monster was ever used in the Zexal anime. Probably should look that up, but I'm too lazy to. Let me know down below. I love using it because I run a Shadal rank 10 trains deck. That's one of the decks I run along with Red Eyes. In Yugioh Pro, I know I sound like an expert saying I run the deck. It's not the greatest deck in the world, obviously, as I'm really not the greatest player by any means. But I always love using this card, especially when I do like 2-on-2 tag duels and the opponent has like 16,000 life points and I have like 1,300 life points, because this monster gains the attack equal to the difference. I'm pretty sure it was used, by the way, in a Zexal duel. I'm pretty sure this monster gains the attack points in the difference to you and your opponent's life points. So if I'm like 16,000 life points down in some crazy tag duel and I get this monster out, this monster literally gets like 16,000 attack points, and then you can use its overlay units to wipe out, I'm pretty sure, the entire monster board of your opponents and just attack directly. Of course, it goes to 0 attack after that, because then your life points are equal. But this monster has led to some incredible Yugioh Pro replays and comebacks that I've done, and I like using it, and that's pretty much my reasoning for it, which is kind of ironic because I absolutely hate spiders. But yeah, the rank 35, number 35, Ravenous Tarantula. I think it's number 35 at least. Tegan Matthews asks, do you think Emma Besso has the chance of becoming the female villain we need? And do you think that the mysterious life form is Decode Talker? To answer the second question, it's interesting because after the first or second episode summary, something was said, like in the summary at the very end, that says, that's when the mysterious AI ... And I wonder, because a lot of people have been comparing him and Decode Talker, saying they look very similar, and they do look very similar, and I wonder if he is going to become Decode Talker or give Yusaku Decode Talker. I could definitely see a resemblance there, and I think the mysterious AI is going to somehow create Decode Talker, if not turn into him entirely. So I don't know if he's Decode Talker per se. I've used that word way too much now. But there's definitely, I think, a connection between the two. I do agree with that. And then, do you think Emma has a chance of becoming the female villain we need? I don't. I really don't. Now that I've thought about it a little more, and I do not think she's going to be a villain. We've never had a female villain in Yu-Gi-Oh! The closest we've come is Sherry in 5Ds and Mirag Rio in Zexal. And I guess Mai during the Seal of Orichalcos arc. I think Emma is going to be kind of like Mai. A few people brought that up. I think she's going to be very similar to Rouge the Bat. I know I've said that already from the Sonic games. Just that no one views her as a good character. Like, you don't see Rouge appear and you're like, oh, great, she's going to save the day. But you don't see Rouge and say, oh boy, there's trouble. You know what I mean? Like, she's got a good heart. Her heart's in the right place. And I think for Emma, it'll be the same thing. Her heart is going to be kind of in the right place, but she's going to be in it for kind of selfish motivations, I think, for the most part. I think she'll be running completely solo. I think she will not have any group. Maybe Bishop, right? Maybe Emma and Bishop are going to be a group, and we're going to have like a 4-front war where we have Soul Technology led by Akira Zaizen, at least the security department. We have the Knights of Hanoi led by Revolver. We have Yusaku's team, maybe Yusaku, Aoi, Go, Naoki, led by Yusaku. And then we just have Emma and Bishop, who they're in kind of a gray area of the whole thing. A duel that we need to see happen is Emma Besso versus Aoi Zaizen. If we do not see that duel, I will already be very, very, very annoyed. That duel, I already think that duel would be absolutely incredible, and I hope we see Aoi and Akira duel. I also hope we see Aoi and Emma duel, but I do not think Emma is going to be a villain. I think she's going to be maybe villainous, but I don't think she's going to be an antagonist, if that makes any sense. I think she's going to fall more into a gray area when it comes to moralities. Politics Today, have you seen Death Note? I have not seen Death Note, but I've heard it's like a psychological kind of thriller, and I think the basis of it, if this is the right show, you like write someone's name in a notebook, and that kind of kills them in a matter of time. I think that's kind of the premise. I might be completely wrong, and if I am, let me know. I know there's only like 33 episodes. If Death Note is still running, someone let me know down below. I know I could look it up, but just let me know about Death Note. But I've heard good things, and a lot of people did recommend it in the last video. Maybe I'll binge Death Note, but there's a lot of other shows, as with Dylan from Anime, coming out that I do want to binge before then. But one of my friends on campus loves the show, and if it is kind of a dark psychological thriller, I think that's a really cool genre. And I think it probably, that and Hunter x Hunter, I've heard, are two very good shows that I don't plan on watching in the near future, but I would not be opposed to it in the distant future by any means. So, yeah, Death Note, have not seen it, but I've heard very good things about it. LT Revolution, would you be willing to create a P.O. box so that fans can send you cards to sign or keep? I personally would like to build you a Gladiator Beast deck and send it to you to keep. I'd also have you sign my favorite Blackwing card. That is absolutely flattering, LT Revolution. That is actually one of the nicest things someone would have ever done for me. I don't even know what to say. That is really, really kind. You are an amazing and awesome person for even saying that. At the moment, I don't have a P.O. box. If I create a Patreon, I might create a P.O. box, and maybe I'll do, like, unboxings. Maybe I'll do a P.O. box, and that way I'll do, like, maybe I'll reinvent the Fan Fridays, and instead it'll be me on camera, because I've bought a new camera that should be better quality, mainly for the VRains opening and ending reactions that I'll be doing this coming Wednesday. But, yeah, maybe I will, maybe I'll think about opening a P.O. box. I'll look into it, I'll see how much money it is. And, you know, if I would absolutely sign your favorite card, and I'd write back like a little, you know, thank you letter and personally send it to you. That is one of the nicest gestures that anyone has ever said to me. So thank you, LT, for even saying that. But I do not have a P.O. box. If I do create one, I will, of course, make a video about it. So I guess stay tuned for that if it's coming. I don't have any immediate plans to make one, but you never know what the future holds. But thank you for the gesture anyway, Revolution. It really does mean a lot. Joe Chapman, do you think we could see legacy characters in the form of AI programs like we could see Pegasus or Kaiba? Well, I've already said this would be awesome. I said it in the last Q&A. The only concern I have, Joe, is, again, that this is 10 years after now, and that kind of traps the timeline a little bit. Again, Yu-Gi-Oh!, you know, do they really care about the timeline, honestly? They probably don't. I mean, I'd be very surprised if one of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Executives just went, oh no, we really care about the timeline. We value the continuity and the insight that the timeline gives and No, they don't care about the timeline. That timeline theory I did, while I'm proud of it and while I believe it, it's, you know, it is overthinking at its finest, because I really, unfortunately, don't, especially with this announcement, it's kind of disheartening to see that they really just don't care about the timeline, which I guess that's just what it is, unless VRains is in its own universe. But if VRains is in its own universe, then we don't have a chance to see legacy characters. So I'm going to say no, I don't think we will. But again, I would love to see something like this incorporated into the show. If it's canon, they will do it. But also if it's canon and we see pendulums and XZs, the entire timeline is completely screwed. So we'll see what they do. Very interested to see what VRains does in terms of continuity with the show. Homie Atheist writes, will you make more theory videos? Also, I love the channel and everything. You are awesome. Thank you. Thank you, homie. I appreciate that. So the way theory videos work, whenever I think of one worth making, I will make one. At the moment, I'm always very transparent with you guys. I don't have any theories. I don't have any theory videos. I was actually writing a script about Yusaku being a member of the Knights of Hanoi, and with the more information we got, I scrapped it. I don't think that... I just don't... I like having a decent amount of evidence when I make theories, and I don't know. I'm very anal. I'm one of the more anal Yugi tubers, I think, when it comes to theories, because I know some Yugi tube channels that will make theory videos, you know, twice every week, and, you know, title any speculation they have as a theory. To me, a theory is something that, you know, you really put days of thoughts into, that you put, you know, research and strong effort. And I'm not saying that's not what other Yugi tubers do, but I think the term theory is sometimes used a little loosely in the community. And for my channel, that's why I only have 3 or 4 theory videos, because to me, a theory is something that I'm substantially confident about, that I would argue till I'm out of breath about. And I would argue about the timeline till I'm out of breath. And I would argue about, you know, why the protagonists aren't in Arc 5, and I would argue why that, you know, Darkness was able to predict all the events of the future. And so, I just don't have any theories right now. If I think of any, if, you know, a topic comes up from the community that I say, I'm going to explore that a little more, then maybe I'll get a little more into it, but at the moment, not going to lie, no theories. If I can pin a timeline on VRains, I'll certainly make a part 2 of that timeline video. But, you know, that'll be probably way, way into the future, because we have to see. If I make a timeline video now about VRains, and 20 or 100 episodes in, pendulum summoning is introduced into the show, then all of a sudden I have to make a third timeline part, and it's like, it just kind of makes me look a little silly. So I'm probably going to be very patient when it comes to the timeline, but if I think at any point that, oh crap, I can pin it, I'm going to pin it. So that's kind of how I work with theory videos, at least. Mauricio Bucardo, if you could create a new archetype, what would be the theme? So I thought about it for a couple of minutes, and I don't think this is an archetype, but wolves. I know there are wolf cards. I love wolves. They're my favorite animal, and I would love to see an entire archetype based around wolves, with like the ace monster being like a werewolf of some sort. And, you know, you could have like, you know, great white wolf or something like that. You know, there's a lot of different types of wolves. I like wolves. They're my favorite animal, and I would love to see an archetype based around them. I know there are wolf cards, but again, I don't think there's a specific wolf archetype. I think they're more for like the beast archetype, or, you know, at least that's what because I remember I looked it up like a year ago if there was like a wolf style archetype, and I would love an archetype based around wolves. I just love the animals. Anixma asks, what's your opinion if the female lead became the main antagonist in the series, and do you think both the main protag and female lead have more character development? Like if Aoi is the main antagonist in VRains and betrays Yusaku and the other characters around 95 episodes in the show. Keep up the work, Dylan. Well, thank you very much. You know, I try the best I can to keep up the good work, and I do appreciate it. I appreciate the question. Now, see, someone like me, I'm a little biased because I really like Aoi, and I don't want to see her become the main antagonist. But in terms of that being good writing, I think it would be actually very good writing. I think it would be a great plot twist, and Yoshida is not shy. He's not shy from doing these crazy plot twists, and they kind of hinted in the first opening of Zexal that Shark might have a little darkness behind him, and I remember that they foreshadowed it. I think you can see Shark like in an alley with like kind of like a purple aura around him, looking at a card, you know, sitting on the ground, and, you know, in a very dark alley. It was a kind of creepy scene in the opening. Very excited to see how the opening portrays all these characters, because maybe they'll drop a hint. Maybe Yoshida does have plans to make Aoi the main antagonist in the show. I think it'd be great for her character if she was written very well in the first 95 episodes. I mean, that Shark plot twist is one of the things that a lot of people commend Zexal for. That's something that Zexal did very well, that I did not see coming, that I know a lot of people did not see coming. He's not shy from writing these crazy plot twists in. So I think that to see it from Aoi, I wouldn't necessarily like it because I like Aoi a lot. I'm biased. But as for her character development, I think if she's written, again, very well in the first 95 episodes and then becomes a villain for whatever reason, I think it would be interesting writing. I think it would be maybe good for her character, actually. MVP X Tomahawks, what kind of role do you think the mysterious AI will play in VRains? Do you think he would play an astral sort of role or something different? So we heard the AI's voice, I think in between seconds 9 to 12 in the first episode preview or the trailer for VRains, and his voice is so irritating. I just hope his voice is going to drive me crazy. I think he's going to be a comic relief character, which I'd rather him be the comic relief character than our main protagonist, to be honest. I don't mind that aspect of it. It's just I hope his voice gets a little, because his voice actor is a very highly commended voice actor. I'm very awarded voice actor. He's won a lot of awards, and I know in Code Geass he plays someone, and a lot of people say, oh, he was great in Code Geass. So hopefully they kind of realize, all right, this guy has a very annoying voice. He's a robot, so maybe he can change his voices. I think that would be kind of cool. So that's why I'm not going to really, it's 3 seconds worth of his voice clip, so I'm not going to be critical on that at all. But we'll see. You know, I think he's going to be a comic relief character. I think he's going to be honestly like a bomb. I think he's going to have the power to destroy the Link VRains world if you set him off, like if you capture him, and then he has like a button on him that you can set off, and it just sends like an electromagnetic shock in the entire VR world that destroys the entire Link VRains. That's what I kind of think he's going to be, like a VR bomb, I guess you could say. But yeah, he's going to have an important role. I think he has something to do with Decode Talker, as I mentioned earlier. Very interested to see what role he does play, though, and I think we'll learn a decent amount about him in this coming Wednesday, which less than 2 days, guys. Jesus, time flies. So that'll be it'll be really cool to see the role he plays. I think it will be an important role, and I think he will be kind of like an Astral to. It'll be more of a Yuma to Astral than an Astral to Yuma, I think, in his relationship to Yusaku. Captain Whitebeard, who do you think has been the best or just most developed character in all of the Yu-Gi-Oh shows? It's either Judai or Yuma for me. I think Judai, his character development was very realistic, very easy for me to relate to. So I'd probably pick him as the best developed character. But for Yuma, he's probably the most developed because he starts as someone who really can't duel, and by the end of the show, you know, he's never, not to say he never had confidence, but he's, you know, gleaming with confidence, and he's much more mature and understanding of, you know, severity, and he's gone through so much at that point in his life by the end of the show. I think he's probably had the most developed character storyline in Yu-Gi-Oh! So far. Andres Marrero, do you think that rituals could have a rise in VRains as they do look like Link monsters both being blue, and do you think a character's VR form could change as the show progresses and the character matures? First part, yes, I already mentioned it earlier, so I'm actually glad someone else had brought that up, Andres. I think that rituals definitely could have a rise in VRains, especially because it seems that, you know, not only in these speed duels, you only have 5 extra deck cards. Your extra deck is completely gone in these speed duels. Not every duel will be a speed duel, but I believe every duel is taking place in the Link VRains. Some will be standing duels, but not everyone is going to be a D board, which is the hoverboard duels, card games on hoverboards. Those are going to be speed duel style, to my understanding, where there will be, kind of like Duel Links, where there will be 5 cards in the extra deck. Rituals, again, you don't have to worry about the extra deck, so I think Rituals would fit in beautifully. Do I think a character's VR form could change? I think so, yeah, because you have to imagine they probably pick how they look in the VR. So if they want to change their appearance, I'd imagine they'd have the ability to. Will they utilize that? I guess we have to see. They probably wouldn't, because then Yusaku could have like 5 different accounts in the VR world, and like Aoi could have like 7 different accounts and be like 7 different people, and I think that would be very complicated, very convoluted to a degree. But we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't mind it if they execute it right. I'd be worried that they'd kind of abuse it a little bit. So, yeah, we'll have to see about that. But very interesting question. I never really thought about that before. Junior RC asks, first of all, I'm a fan of all the Yu-Gi-Oh shows. I'm excited for VRains, but I want an honest answer, Dylan. Is the Yu-Gi-Oh anime getting out of hand? I say this because 5Ds had the introduction of speed duels and literally dueling on their D wheels, Arc 5 with the action duels, and now VRains with duels on hoverboards. The franchise has shifted from the original formula and transformed into what I like to call Yu-Gi-Oh gimmicks. Do you think these gimmicks are necessary for the evolution of the anime, or do you feel that the over-reliance on these gimmicks by the writing team ends up hurting the plot of the show overall, and to chase off old fans and keep them from coming back? Once again, thank you for the great content, Dylan. Very interesting point here, JRC. I think no matter what they do, whether they have these gimmicks or not, at this point in Yu-Gi-Oh, the DM fans, you know, the Yu-Gi-Oh Gen 1ers, the Yu-Gi-Oh Gen 1ers are never going to give the show a fair chance. With that being said, I do think that sometimes these gimmicks do get out of hand. The action duels, by the end of Arc 5, every time an action card was picked up, I literally would just I'd sigh. It was almost painful for me to watch because it got so overdone. And Yuya, with the abuse of the action cards, that's not necessarily his fault. That's just the writing of it. But you have to have a fair balance. These gimmicks are not a bad thing unless they are overutilized. I think 5Ds had a fair balance. Think about that final arc. Think about the Zone and Aporia duel. That was a standing duel. Think about the Jack, Rua, and Ruka duel versus Aporia. That was a standing duel. Yusei versus Aki, both times. Standing duels. Sure, you had a lot of riding duels, but you also had a lot of memorable standing duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal didn't really have a crazy gimmick as much as 5Ds, you know, and I would say Arc 5 did. Arc 5, I can't think of one time that there wasn't an action duel. Yuya and Reiji, the second time they dueled, maybe that wasn't necessarily an action duel. I know Yuya did not use any action cards in that duel, and he lost the duel, no coincidence. But there was just too many action duels. Way too many action duels in Arc 5. If VRains does like a half and half, they're going to be fine. you can use these gimmicks, but I think the problem, Junior RC, is when they abuse these gimmicks like Arc 5 did with action duels, and just we have to hope Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains does not abuse the D-board duels, because they're not even really technically legit duels. They're speed duel style, so they're Duel Links duels, which that's not really like competitive play, so... I'm sure that probably annoys people who are, do play competitive. They want to see competitive duels with, 15 card extra decks and 40 card main decks, but this is 20 card main decks and 5 card extra decks. So I just hope there's a fair balance. I'm worried there's not going to be. We'll see. I don't think the gimmicks are a problem. I think it's the execution of the gimmicks, and it's sometimes the overuse and abuse of said gimmicks. Dan Kuso, do you think that VRains is going to have different types of duel discs like Arc 5 did? Good question. I would like to see it. I think so. I think they'll have different colors and stuff. Arc 5 had the different factions, so maybe the Knights of Hanoi will have their own dual discs. Soul Technology will. Yusaku will. Interesting question. We'll probably find that out, actually, in the very first episode, honestly. And you know what, guys? I think that is going to wrap it up. I know less questions than normal, but I always like to keep these between 40 to 50 minutes. I don't really like to go over that or go under it. And because I did rant for the first, not rant, but I did discuss for the first 12 minutes about my new channel and the channel updates, there were just less questions to answer. But ask me any questions you want. If you want to wait a few weeks, because I won't be doing a Q&A until June. If you want to wait a few weeks for VRains to, have some episodes so you can ask about that, please go right ahead and wait, because the questions you ask right now about VRains might be answered by the time I do get to reading the questions and get to answering them when my June Q&A comes along. So, again, the Dylan from Anime channel is linked down below if you do support that. If we can get to 100 subscribers by Saturday, I will be forever grateful to you guys. 1,000 subs by the end of 2017 would be absolutely incredible. I do not doubt you guys. You guys are all incredible. Cannot wait to talk to you about the shows over there. Cannot wait to talk to you in the comments about the comments that I made and the questions that were asked in this video. So please leave your thoughts down below. Please leave more questions down below. Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains in less than 2 days. I hope you guys are hyped, because I am hyped as heck. Tomorrow, cast list analysis for episode 2 and the Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains first summary podcast. That is coming tomorrow as well. On Wednesday, the opening reaction, the ending reaction, and the episode 1 review. 6 Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos, including this one, in the next 2 to 3 days. It's going to be a hectic time, but I love doing these. I love just pounding these videos out, and I hope you guys love watching them as well. Have an amazing day, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Again, genuinely, thank you so much for the support as well. I will talk to you down below. Have an amazing day. 2 more days.